Hi gorgeous, welcome to my channel. My name is Sabrina. For today's video, we're going to be talking about how the internet has failed Megan Thee Stallion, aka the hot girl coach, aka Miss Tina Snow, aka the OG hottie herself. And the reason why I'm making this video is because as a longtime fan, I have noticed that Megan Thee Stallion has had an immense, immeasurable amount of love that has turned into bitter hatred from the internet. Once upon a time, when the internet used to scream her name, is now screaming it for a different reason. Megan Thee Stallion is someone who has been pivotal to my life. I discovered her when I was 18 years old on Tumblr from a creator that I used to follow. They would post her Tina Snow album everywhere, all day long. And I remember the first song I decided to give a chance was Freak Nasty. Now, Freak Nasty is my song. That has been my favorite song ever since I discovered it. No other song has topped that for me besides maybe Pyramids by Frank Ocean, but even then, to hear I'm running through your nigga house like a Tomb Raider, do you hear her? That is prolific. That definitely belongs in a museum. I don't know how they're going to put it in there, but it belongs in there. Now, speaking of Tina Snow, Big Ol' Freak was her breakout track from the album. Megan Thee Stallion was everywhere. I'm talking car freestyles, I'm talking radio freestyles, I'm talking interviews, literally everywhere out the wazoo. She had artists reposting her music, and I remember in real time watching SZA dance to her song on stage and Megan reacting to it in real time, like, oh my god, SZA is listening to my song. And I believe when she had that moment, I also shared that moment with her where I was just like, holy crap, Megan is making it. I knew just listening to the album alone that Megan Thee Stallion was a born star. I won't even say potential. I saw the artistry. I knew that the passion, the hunger was there. But with newfound fame comes newfound challenges. And as we know, our girl Megan Thee Stallion, she is no stranger to challenges, especially in the industry with her peers. At the time, Megan Thee Stallion was so well loved, as I mentioned, but around the pandemic, I want to say July 2020, when she had the situation with Tory Lanez. And if you're unfamiliar, Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion, and it was everywhere. And you would think it would have had a more severe reaction. I remember where I was when it happened, because once the news hit, I didn't believe it. I'm like, Megan Thee Stallion was shot. And I just remember my heart sinking and the internet just being ablaze. And no one knew what had happened. People were theorizing that maybe there was an active shooter and Tory Lanez had saved her, or maybe they had gotten to an altercation with someone and they were running away. And not many people talk about this because I feel like they kind of have amnesia. They just automatically assume, like, oh, Megan decided to throw Tori under the bus. No, like, Megan didn't say anything for a little while. So when it happened, so many people were just like, well, they have a great relationship. You know, she was on quarantine radio. They had went to the Rock Nation brunch together. Well, I wouldn't say they went together, but they were there at the same time, and they had taken that picture together that, you know, we all remember. And we thought that they were the best of friends, especially given how much they were talking to each other and how much they brought the internet in them talking to each other. But when the news broke through Megan Thee Stallion, when she was just like, hey, listen, this situation is not okay. Tory shot me. And she was only pushed that way because Tory Lanez was out here bragging and doing small people things. We'll say that. Doing very small people, nasty, disgusting, atrocious, gremlin things, antagonizing her on social media as if he didn't shoot her. But of course, his day came and he's behind bars. So, yay. And then, of course, Megan Thee Stallion also had her run in with long term collaborator The Baby, and he also ended up choosing the Gremlin. And now look at him, no career, no relevancy. Yay. And we also know that Megan Thee Stallion had a run-in with Glorilla. In this situation, we're not really sure what happened with Glorilla and Megan. But Glorilla has definitely been making it known that she has an issue with Megan, especially given the recent situation where Megan has unfortunately been cheated on by Klay Thompson, who looks like a rock. But again, not really sure what Glorilla's issue is, but she decided to post on social media some laughing emojis. Now, if you laugh at another woman's pain, I truly believe it will come back to you tenfold. So we will see how her relationship escalates as things move on. Another situation that was pretty unfortunate for Megan was Nicki Minaj. Now, there's a lot of different rumors about how this started, but at its core, I like to believe that it's jealousy. Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B made WAP, and I like to believe that because Nicki Minaj and Cardi B had their beef, she was not too pleased at the fact that Megan had did Hot Girl Summer with her and then up and decided to do WAP. And at that point, there was a breaking point. A lot of rumors had came out about, I won't even say rumors really, it was just lies and just weirdo sayings, or however you want to put it, from Nicki Minaj trying to accuse Megan Thee Stallion of different stuff, which is just obviously false and weird, as I said. But of course, none of these things truly matter, because at the end of the day, these are all public falling outs that have now determined Megan's public perception. The internet has now instilled the fact that Megan Thee Stallion is the problem, and that she is the reason why she cannot maintain relationships with other people or peers in the industry. However, I like to think that that is a stretch. People come in and out your life for reasons, and I definitely feel like everyone has a stop. And if they don't, then great, kudos. But I definitely have been someone who's been on that foot before, where you may think these are going to be your people forever and they switch up on you. That's just how people are. I don't think that's enough evidence to say that Megan Thee Stallion is the problem, but I definitely do believe that that is the turning point as to why people also don't believe that she is a victim. Now, one of the things that I wanted to address in terms of why I believe the internet has failed Megan Thee Stallion is the hypersexualization of her. I know that the internet is not very smart. It's full of incels and red wingers and red pillars and everything else. So the tides have definitely turned, I will say. People believe that women who have sexual lyrics deserve to be sexualized at all points, even though they don't consent to that. And Megan Thee Stallion is one of those people who suffer from it. Megan Thee Stallion is a very beautiful and gorgeous lady. We know this. We know that she talks about having a natural body, especially in her lyrics. She definitely brags about it, and she should brag about it because she looks darn good. But unfortunately, I definitely feel like there's a time and a place, and I do believe that the internet doesn't know how to separate the two. Recently, Megan Thee Stallion was cheated on, and a lot of people that I noticed on the internet is starting to bring up the fact that her body is the reason why she shouldn't have been cheated on. It is so infuriating to hear people say that, because regardless to how you look, if a man wants to cheat, he's gonna cheat. You could be the most beautiful woman in the world, you could be the most average woman in the world, and I put average in quotations because I think all women are pretty much beautiful. But going according to society standards, you can be any type of woman, and social media will still find a reason to blame you for why a man has cheated on you, despite him being built like a box. So I just want to emphasize this point, that if you're someone who's watching, who's listening, please understand that if a man wants to cheat, he's going to cheat regardless to what you do for them. And I definitely believe when it comes to Megan Thee Stallion, uh, people are associating her worth with her body. And I saw a lot of tweets, and I'll read out two of them. One tweet reads, "How can you cheat on Megan Thee Stallion with such a banging body?" Another tweet reads, "Why would anyone cheat on Megan Thee Stallion? Proceeds to show her body. Is that the only thing women have to offer?" Another tweet, "You had this and still wasn't satisfied." I definitely believe that even the tweets that are in good faith, people who love Megan Thee Stallion, like the hotties, I definitely don't believe they understand the connotation of stating just because she is attractive, she has a beautiful body, she has a beautiful face, she is beautiful, that she can't be cheated on. Because imagine if you guys didn't find Megan to be any of those things, would she have deserved to be cheated on still? Like, I need people to sit and process that we shouldn't be equating our looks with our worth. We shouldn't be equating how how people should feel about us with our looks. It is very toxic and damaging to one's self-esteem to continuously tell her like, hey, he shouldn't have cheated on you because you're beautiful. And I'm pretty sure that Megan is not on the internet anymore. She only shows up here and there to promote some things, or just to kind of relate to us and just let us know any updates or check in on us to see what's going on. But I can only imagine how that makes her feel, for people to keep reminding her that not even how she looks was able to keep her from being cheated on. So I definitely believe that even down to the hotties, people need to be mindful about the things that they say and how they say them, because they do have long lasting effects. Another point I want to address that corroborates with the first point is how people continuously bring up Megan Thee Stallion's family and her trauma to be able to validate her experience of being cheated. Now, the issue that I have with this is so many people just coming out the woodworks being like, well, Megan lost her family. And it's not even just like a general, oh, she lost her family, this is tragic. It's people who are detailing how many family members she lost in such a short span. It's people digging in further, like digging the knife in further, to say she shouldn't have been cheated on because these things have happened to her. And I'm here to say this, and I'm going to say this only one time. Men do not care. They do not care. You can tell them the most traumatic thing in your life and they will still do what they want to do regardless. Cheating is a character flaw. Cheating is intentional. Cheating is abuse. Cheating is abuse. I need whoever's listening, cheating is abuse. It's abuse because he intentionally went out his way to be with her, to court her for however long. To the public it's been a year, but according to their timeline it seemed like it was a bit more than a year. So he's definitely known her well enough to know not to do this to her, and he decided to do it anyway. I just don't believe that that's going to get the empathy that you guys think he has. He does not care, otherwise he wouldn't have cheated on her. It's already rumored that he allegedly is a serial cheater to begin with. We see that with the history of the women that he has been with publicly. So to sit up here and bring up her family, I don't think you guys realize how traumatizing that is. Imagine if Megan comes online, she has to constantly be reminded that every time she has a severe public issue, that her parents need to be involved, that her grandma needs to get involved, that the fact that she has been shot has to be brought up, the fact that, any, like I said, bad situation happens to her. You guys keep bringing that up for likes and retweets and follows, and it's just like, this is her real life, and this is the dehumanization that we talk about with Black women. You guys like to use our pain to be able to progress forward in society, leaving us behind. So while we're back here and we're going through things, you guys are already up here making money off of us, not caring about the long lasting effects of that. So I ask you, do you want to hear when you lose someone constantly bringing it up at any minor inconvenience at that? Megan could just be having a bad day and now people are bringing up the fact that she lost people, the fact that she has no immediate family, the fact that she is alone. And I just, this is where, to me, parasocialism starts seeping in, because you guys don't know Megan. I don't know Megan. We don't know what she goes through. And I'm sure that those things still bother her, but to keep projecting these things on her, that this is what she's feeling every single time that something bad happens to her, I think does more bad and harm than good. So it almost feels self-serving. Like, someone could argue even me talking about this right now fits the bill of what I'm talking about. And I understand that, because personally, I don't want to have to talk about that, but I feel like someone needs to address it, because I have yet to see many people talk about how big of an issue this actually is. Here, I'll actually read some tweets. I'm hurt for her. I know she thought she had a family. This young lady has lost all her immediate family. Clay parents embraced her. I know it has to be devastating. Megan, I pray the Lord will send you the right person so you can have your own family and children to love. Now, it's tweets like this that are concerning, because what if Megan didn't want to have children? Megan having her own family and children is not going to replace the fact that she is still grieving and the fact that she lost people. And I feel like this is where the disconnect, as I said, the dehumanization of Black women is when people feel like you can just replace these feelings with new ones. And that's just not how it operates. Everyone else is allowed to grieve and to sit in their pain, but Black women have to move forward. We have to constantly change the way that we're feeling so other people can feel comfortable. And even though I don't think this tweet is necessarily in bad faith, I don't think it's in good faith either, because it completely misses the point at hand. I'll read another tweet. I honestly thought that they were the perfect couple. I think the hurtful part is that he allowed his family to be close to her, knowing that she doesn't have any immediate family or support. I pray that Meg gets through this rough time and comes back stronger than ever. Again, I don't believe it's in bad faith, But I also feel like the same way that you wrote all of that, you could have wrote it something else completely supportive. Like, hey, Megan, I pray for you. I wish the best for you. I know that you'll get over this. Imagine the words that you could use to uplift her rather than to remind her of her trauma and then to save it at the end as if you actually care about her. Because, listen, as Megan said, as long as everybody getting paid, right? All these blue check marks, everybody's online talking about this for days on end, but no one's actually sitting there and thinking about her as a person. Megan Thee Stallion is more than her trauma. She's more than everything that she has been through. And the last thing that she needs is people not supporting her in the way that she needs. I truly believe that people putting Megan on a pedestal to make it seem like she's not a real person, which, as I said, going back to my previous points, Megan being this beautiful woman and being this magnetic figure and going through as much as she has went through, she has cultivated the hotties, people who sincerely love and appreciate her, who have watched her grow. But even the hotties are the ones that are causing her so much pain and detriment, especially the new hotties, not so much the old hotties, the new hotties, because they weren't there with Megan from the very beginning. So now they're just picking and choosing and arguing with other fandoms and whatnot, which brings me to my next point. Megan being a complete target on the internet. Okay. Megan is constantly targeted by podcasters and social figures. Given this new information about her being cheated on, which I commend her 100%, you should not be out here, as especially as Black women, protecting these men that hurt us. I love that Megan took that experience with Tori and she was just like, you know what? I'm not protecting no other person, especially not no Black man. I'm gonna get on here and I'm gonna speak my truth and I'm gonna walk away from it and not speak on it anymore. Probably unless she decides to put out some music, which again, hotties are asking her for, which is not the time to ask her for that. But neither here nor there. You have podcasters or streamers like DJ Academics, you have Little Duval, you have Ebros who are online speaking these very nasty and hateful things about her. For instance, Little Duval went on a whole Twitter rant about how Clay is a real nigga and he's this, that, and the third for cheating on Megan. When it's like, hold on, don't you have weird tweets about your daughter? We can, because we gonna pull up the receipts. We don't do lies here. That those tweets, a lot of those tweets are still up. You got the nerve to speak on Megan Thee Stallion, Lil Duval. Irrelevant. You look like chewed gum. Bottom of the barrel gum underneath a desk. And you got the nerve to speak on Megan Thee Stallion saying that she deserves to be cheated on. And then we have DJ Academics, the biggest glazer in history. He quite literally has a vendetta against Megan Thee Stallion. And anyone who disagrees is either stupid, idiotic, or just naive and ignorant. Because he has been attacking Megan Thee Stallion ever since her falling out. Well, ever since she was brutalized by Tory Lanez. He has literally got online and talked about her body count, equating the fact that she talks about sex so fluidly, the fact that she decides to go public with different partners, that she's a whore and that she's undeserving. And then he also said that Clay was a real nigga for cheating on Megan Thee Stallion, that she should have known better because at the end of the day, Clay doesn't want anything that's used and whatnot. And it's just like, well, DJ Academics, do you think you're gonna get your turn? Do you want your turn? Because the way that you go at women online for men that you seemingly find desirable and you feel like they have more worth than these women, what do you need to say about yourself? Let's not also forget the pedo allegations that are pretty much out there, considering you wrote yourself about Bad Baby and her being underage. And then last year with the 15-year-old on stream, you were saying grooming words to him that I won't even get into, but you have a history of your own, especially allegations. You have the nerve to talk about Megan Thee Stallion. Anyways, I want to say out of both of those people, those things were expected because they're bottom of the barrel trash. But what really frustrated me was Ebros. For him to get online and to say Megan Thee Stallion should have known, or we should have known that Clay was gonna cheat on her because he's an athlete and because of his accolades, that it was to be expected, is utterly gross. Especially if you watch that very emotional interview he did with Megan Thee Stallion, I think for Apple, where she talks about her mom and he's being very encouraging. He's telling her that she did her best and that she should be proud of herself.
My mama could say good job. That was good. You know, we did that. I feel like by now I would have been able to like get my together when I talk about my mama, but every time I talk about my mama, I cannot hold it together.
But again, I don't know why that's something that you think you should be able to do. It's your mom.
But I know my mama, and she'll be like, "Girl, get your together." You're tweaking. And she was just so cool, and I just trusted her so much, and her opinion just meant so much to me. And I just feel like when she would say I did a good job, it would feel like, okay, I did that. Like, I did a good job. But now when I do, it's like, okay, like, what's next? Because I don't know if I'm doing that good of a job.
We're not your mom, and it's not going to mean the same, but
I think you're doing a great job.
You're doing an excellent job, Megan.
I'm trying.
It feels like a slap in the face, you know? Like, it genuinely is polarizing to me how people can sit up there and dehumanize Megan Thee Stallion when you see in real time that the industry is purposefully provoking her. They like to pretend that they support her, but then they don't support her in the next breath. So they only say what benefits them in that moment to her. But I don't feel like they do that to many other people aside from women. It's so interesting to me how Megan Thee Stallion shared such a, I don't want to say intimate moment, but it was pretty much an emotional, vulnerable moment, just for him to a few years later bring up the fact that she has a high body count, which we don't know, and say that Clay is more deserving at that point. And then had the nerve to insinuate that Clay Thompson is bigger than Megan Thee Stallion. When first of all, I barely knew of Clay. I'm sure he was big in the NBA, but on a global scale, Megan Thee Stallion definitely did help his image. Especially because now a lot of the hotties was like, who is this? Everyone's like, oh, who is this? And you had so many people literally engaging in the NBA with NBA content, being like, okay, this is Meg's man. We're going to support him just like how he supports Meg. Because Clay came out the gate swinging. When that one guy spoke about her and tried to, equate her with, her sexual partners, he came out and was just like, hey, don't talk about my lady like that. And we thought, oh, this is the first time that we have ever seen someone defend Megan, especially as a romantic partner. This is her lifetime partner. This is the one. So it's so interesting to me to see so many people slut shame and blame her for being cheated, and to go through the motions of exposing him as if we didn't see in real time how manipulative Clay really was. Like, this is what I mean by how the internet fails Megan Thee Stallion. Like, so many perceptions of her have overridden the fact that she is the one who has been cheated. Like, how are we blaming somebody and accusing them of their sexual history and the fact that she did so much for him to going to she deserves it? If someone can answer me that would be great. And not to mention, I also want to address this point about the hotties. The hotties are very confusing because I feel like a lot of hotties are also haters. You see so many of them saying, well, the remedy to all this is that she should date women. I need people to understand, and this is where things get really tricky in the queer community, that the queer community can also be very toxic. We have our own statistics of domestic violence and abuse that shouldn't be ignored. And when you say statements like that Megan Thee Stallion needs to stop dating men and date women, you are now insinuating that women are going to be better than men. Now, I feel like at a core, that is true. But in relationships, humans are going to do what humans want to do, and abuse is abuse. So I think we should keep in mind that her dating a woman, it shouldn't change the fact that people are being ill towards her. And I don't feel like the perception is going to change around whether she's with a woman, a man, a person, whoever. People are still going to find a reason to hate on Megan Thee Stallion and blame her for the fact that she has been cheated yet again in some way. And last but not least, I feel like the internet has truly failed Megan Thee Stallion by the lack of empathy. You know, all of my points talk about how everyone lacks empathy for Megan Thee Stallion, especially because they're either equating it with her body, how many people she has been involved with, or even the fact that because she keeps having these public falling outs with people, that somehow, some reason, she's responsible for her own pain. I truly believe the lack of empathy and blaming her for not having discernment is truly the reason why all those other things have happened. Social media has made people feel comfortable to get online and act as if they're high mighty and God and self-righteous in the things that they say, that they feel like it's true. That in itself is parasocialism. You do not know these people. We do not know Megan Thee Stallion. And that is the concerning part of all of this, because we're all people. No one is perfect. We make mistakes. We trust people. And that's just life. People come in and out of your life. They have stops. And you can't stop yourself from getting hurt. It's inevitable. Whether it's romantic, platonic. When you love hard, because these are people that are supposed to be in your life in hopes that they will do the same to you. So when people get online and they blame Megan, telling her, well, you should choose better. I don't think Megan thought that Glorilla was going to turn on her. In real time, we were all pushing for her to work with Glorilla. We felt like they were on the same coin. Essentially, they made similar music in terms of subject material. They both had big, boisterous personalities. We thought that they would make good music together, which they have. And when Megan had her as an opener for her tour, we saw the chemistry in real time. No one thought that that situation was going to have them fall out. No one also thought she was going to have a falling out with the baby either. The baby was literally her long-term collaborator. So when that falling out happened, he switched on her in real time. Yeah, it was very concerning for all of us. Not to mention, no one thought that her and Tori was going to fall out. We thought that they were very cool. And also in Megan's documentary, she literally mentions how the two of them connected and bonded over the fact that they lost their mothers. So much to our surprise, when he shot her, yeah, no one thought that he was going to do that to her. So the fact that people are blaming her for her lack of discernment, it's like, no, she loves hard. She did not think that the people who once presented themselves as loving and supportive were going to switch on her. If nothing serves you, or this person doesn't serve you, you got to get going. You can't keep that stagnant weight. And that's one of the things that I truly love about her, because she keeps it going. Even if it hurts, she keeps it going. She tells us to keep it going. We all are still learning. Yeah, sure, if someone hurts you, you should probably take that, reassess the situation, and do better next time. However, again, people are deceiving. I would argue that all those people I just listed are different people. They all have different qualities. No one thought that they were going to do her like that. So if you could tell me, if you've seen it from a mile away, that's great. That's you, because you're an outsider looking in. But being that person, yes, sometimes you can't see those things. And here are some tweets that I'm going to read out that corroborate what I'm saying. If you can cheat on Megan Thee Stallion, you can cheat on anyone. Lock your doors. I wonder why she quit. She better not let this nigga F up with her money. Now, the issue I have with this is that both tweets lack complete empathy. The second one in particular, Megan Thee Stallion is a multimillionaire. She has been doing Moulin Rouge. If you're not familiar with it, it's a theater play. And she's been doing it for a little bit now. When Megan first announced it, everybody was pretty excited. But now that this situation with Clay has happened, I think she realized it's time for me to take a break, especially because just a few weeks ago, Megan passed out from extreme exhaustion, which worried all of us. So for people to get online and to say things like that also removes this factor that she is human. She is not a superwoman. She can't handle and do everything. She deserves to have a mental health break. She deserves to rest her body. She deserves to nourish her spirit and take a step away, because the industry, it really has it out for her. You have people who believe that she should be more worried about her money than her mental health. And that's where y'all got it messed up. Okay? As long as everybody getting paid, right? Right. She is a prophet for a reason. She knows what she's talking about. All y'all want to see her is get up there and dance. So at the end of the day, I definitely think it's important to take a step back, even as hotties, to realize, okay, what is it I'm saying? So when you separate that factor of music and now you feel like Megan is your personal close friend, then that's when the parasocialism gets terrible. Because I also seen a lot of people being like, oh my God, I'm so parasocial about Megan Thee Stallion. And at one point, I would say that. I'd be like, you know what? I'm not parasocial by anyone but Megan Thee Stallion. And I had to sit and reassess what parasocialism really is. I'm not out here trying to get my girl's address, following her every move. I'm actually just empathetic to her because as a woman to another woman, I understand the pain, especially as a black woman being ignored and to be brutalized and people to look at you and blame you for it or to overlook you and make it seem like you're the problem all the time, like you're the aggressor. So I have that close personal connection to all black women, regardless to if they're famous or not. And that's not parasocialism, that's empathy, something that can't be taught at this day and age. Now that social media is going the way that it is, people lack empathy. Everything is just trolling and jokes and self-serving, even down to I said as the hotties. So at the end of the day, I definitely feel like everyone is clout chasing, even her fans, down to news outlets, everyone just making up stuff, just different articles saying that she was using Clay for money, which I don't see why she wouldn't have to, saying he gave her a monthly stipend, which is just completely false. I don't even know where this stuff is coming from, but because the internet hates Megan Thee Stallion so much, they're willing to believe any and everything. As she said, black background, bold font. That's all it takes for people to believe the things that are coming up. Overall, I love and support Megan Thee Stallion. I always will. She has been someone so special to me since I was 18. I hope she knows that she is so thought of, so appreciated, and I can never thank her enough. I hope that I meet her one day just to let her know just how important she is to me. And I need people to watch this video and understand that Megan Thee Stallion is a person. You know, I know we like to say that she's a goddess, she's a Mona Lisa, because she is, but I definitely believe it sets her apart from being the human that she is, that she will go through things, she will have traumatic things happen to her, and we should see her as a human versus Megan Thee Stallion. She's Megan Pete. She is a black woman at her core. She is one of us at her core. When I see Megan Thee Stallion, I see parts of myself. I see parts of myself that I battle with my own trauma. I see, my confidence in Megan Thee Stallion because she taught me confidence. So I think it's important that we start to view her less of what she offers to the world and more of who she is. The Megan Pete that she shows us when she decides to laugh and when she decides to share her humor and her interests. Like, I'm not obviously talking about the parasocial stuff, but the stuff that she shows us consensually, when she goes to anime museums or she buys books and whatnot, like to engage in those things with her because that's her showing herself off stage. And I believe that just as much as we nourish Megan Thee Stallion, we need to nourish Megan Pete too. Also, if you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe and follow. You can also follow for more videos. I will be posting them consistently. You can also watch some previous videos that I have. I occasionally game sometimes on here, so if you're looking for some funny, cozy gaming, that's on here too, along with other little commentary videos. Thank you, gorgeous. Until next time.